What I'm curious is, can you hear? Can you hear the guitar? That's what I'm curious about. Thanks. Can you hear the guitar? That's what I'm wondering. Okay. So I went to and picked up some extra hours this weekend for today. And so last night we went to a common prayer group, which was really great. There was a lot of fun. It's at this Anglican church that we've been attending, and they have several common prayer groups that people connect with every like 2 weeks, I think it is. And so last night was kind of like the first of the season, and it was at somebody's house, and it was on the lake, which is really beautiful. Beautiful evening, very, very lovely weather. The bugs were not crazy. We could hear the cicadas, but I love the cicadas. And they took Carolyn and Anne went out on the pontoon boat, and that was great. And I had a really great conversation with a gentleman that's been attending the church. Also goes to seminary, I think. There's a lot of people at my church that go to seminary. Yeah, we've been attending an Anglican church. Actually, the same church that Ethan Cawhey attends. So that's pretty cool. And so we went to that last night. And it kind of monkeyed with Carolyn's schedule a little bit, which she's fine. She can adjust to that sort of thing. And then this morning, I got up and so anyway, wait, before we get on to this morning. So the common prayer group, it was like a potluck. They had sloppy joes, salad, desserts. Excuse me, several families, like maybe 4 or 5 families. And it felt like I'm very grateful if we decide to stay at this church. I felt like I could see us connecting well with these people and developing relationships and friendships with them. And so that was very lovely. And like the conversation was beautiful. So then this morning Anne went off to work at the picnic basket, and then I went to church. I brought Carolyn. They have like a cry room where you can put the kids and stuff. It's also like a nursery, and there's like a window there so you can look into there. I was sitting by that, and Carolyn was like just not feeling it. Normally Anne, bless her, goes and sits in there with Carolyn for a while, and lets Carolyn play with the other kids and stuff. And today Anne wasn't there, so I was in there for a little bit, and then I went out. And normally Carolyn is really good about not being fussy and crying, but she just wasn't feeling it, and she was very sad. And I was looking at her, and I was just so heartbroken. So I got her out of there, and we were sitting in our row, and at the beginning of liturgy, and all was going well for a bit, but then she started getting really antsy and wanted to talk and stuff. And some of the people are okay with that, and I'm okay with like other kids and stuff that are doing that. It doesn't really bother me, but I was feeling very self-conscious and anxious trying to wrangle the situation. So I just decided that it'd be best if we left. So we left early and went down the street to where Anne works, and let Anne's coworkers meet Carolyn and had lunch, and now we're home. And so she was kind of starting to nap in the car on the way home, And I kind of disrupted that nap by getting her into the house and changing her into some clothes and changing her diaper. But she looks like she's about to go down. I mean, so I have time, probably a couple hours, and I'd love to have people come in and talk and hang out if they would like. Otherwise, I got nothing going on here. What's up? Let's see. Oh, nice. Very nice.
Just recently got myself a guitar so I can learn. Any advice? The best advice I have is don't trust your embodied instincts. Because, like, these over here, like chords, like now they feel natural, but they never felt natural when you start. So you have to kind of muscle your way through that, so to speak. So that's one piece. First thing I would do is I would learn how to tune the guitar. And you could do it with tools like a digital tuner, but learn how to tune a guitar to itself at least. So like right now I'm in a drop tuning. It's probably not exactly drop D. It might not exactly be in D. That's the D, but so you want to learn how to tune the guitar at the very least. You can learn how to tune it properly with like a tuning tool, and also learn how to tune a guitar to itself. So in order to get to like something like if I don't have a guitar tuner, let's say I want to be in E. I have a song that I know, a couple songs that I know that start in E. So like I have Metallica has always been a reference for me. So let's see. Well, first of all, yeah. So you have you can have that as a reference if you have an ear for like what the song sounds like, or you can go to that song and play that song, and then you can get into the right key. So mine is like Enter Sandman or Nothing Else Matters or Great. But if I'm in D, I can do it with Creed's. So it does sound like I'm in D. Another thing, so once you learn how to tune the guitar, I would say learn basic chords, what they call cowboy chords: C, G, A, D, F, A minor, E minor, D minor. So you have like your strum chords. Like this is A minor, this is A,
is A7, C, D, D minor, D minor 7. No, what is that one? How do you do that one? Yeah. F, E minor, then E, then E. That's E major. So learn what those chords are. Learn tablature is really good. A good tool for learning songs. But yeah, the reason why I say learn the chords, learn those basic chords, is because those are going to be the chords that are going to break you in, that you're going to be able to muscle through, and you're going to be able to turn the guitar from a foreign object into an instrument, I guess. And so it becomes more natural to play. One thing I did I started when I was like 12 or something, but I would do like these kinds, like I would know the chord, I would find the chord, the shape of that chord, and I would play, like, even if it didn't make any sense, I would just cycle through the chords like this, like, and I would do that so that it would feel natural. Like if I were to, and actually this would be kind of fun to actually string a guitar upside down and then learn how to play the other way. I think that would be a fun exercise to do. Also, you'll know if you're pressing on the strings correctly when it rings out like that. If you don't, you have this sort of thing going on. So trying to strike a chord. Oh, very funny. Very nice. T. A minor. That's A minor. But yeah, you just learn what those are. I would start with chords. And then there's scales, which I kind of learned a little bit of, but not much. But those can be really helpful. I would say learn how to actually play the guitar. I'm self-taught, so I have some difficulties that I have to encounter. But if you like learn how to actually play, it can be very useful, I think. One thing I did when I first started playing guitar was I put on. So when I was 12 years old, I really liked the self-titled Sublime and The Color and the Shape by Foo Fighters. I would put those on, and I would just play whatever. I would just like do solo stuff over the songs, and that helped me, I think, become generatively creative, so I could create songs. But it wasn't that virtuous. It was also, for me, it was rooted in some sort of like laziness, some kind of in this desire to not learn other people's music, because it was because I was too lazy, really. But the ones I did learn were songs that I loved, and I didn't even learn all of those. I just learned pieces, like so stuff like that. Let's see. Classically as a youth, encountered difficulty adapting to jazz, campfire, etc. One of the things that I like what I do today mostly is just this doodling, kind of inane, ridiculous stuff. Like I don't really know what it is that I'm doing, I'm playing merely out of feel, and I know like when I hit sour notes, I just kind of run with them. But I also have, like, even in my doodling, I have um, there are habits that I lean on. Like that doodle, that hammer on stuff. That's a lot of that's a habit that I just kind of, so that I tend to play a lot of the same licks, whether it's over here or so it's, I really love these chords a lot. Whatever they are, I don't really know what they are. If there's some sort of jazzy 7th, 9th stuff, but I love those kinds of things. These power chords are classic, but I don't really. I mean, I played so many of those in metal. I'm just sick of them. So I like these kinds of. Let's just say, any tips for hammer-ons? I heard people say you should slam it, but slamming it is the only way I seem to get a sound out of them. Hammer-ons, okay. I just practice them. One thing I would do too, when I was in school, I'd be walking around school doing this with my fingers. Like I would have a pattern in my mind, and I would just be like almost like a nervous tick. I would just be walking around doing this, like, and then I would have a certain pattern, and then if I messed up the pattern, I would start over. But like it would be something like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 1 1 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 3. So things like that. I would just get used to doing those things, and they're just kind of like learning how to ride a bike in some sense. They become embodied in that way. You don't want to press on this metal thing here is called a fret. You don't want to press necessarily on there because it muffles it. You want to press behind it. So what happens is when you press behind that fret, the string is pinched off on that metal fret there. Action helps. Action is the height of the string versus the fretboard. So the higher the action, the harder it is to play. If the action is too low, then you have something where you'll get what they call fret buzz, which is not good unless you're looking for that sound, which most people aren't. There, that's very habitual play of mine. I like the hammer-on because it has a more of a fluid sound, where like the more of the strummed has more of like a staccato. So, you have exercises that you play with to strengthen your body's response to the guitar, hence making it an instrument. But I think at the root of it, you want to have fun with it. So if you're just beginning and it's something that you've never done before and you're just beginning, give yourself a ton of grace. like a lot of grace period for waiting to get there. Also, it'd be helpful if you find like you can go on YouTube and look up like backing drum tracks and stuff, or you can have like backing guitar or backing tracks for rock in C, right? You can look something like that up and it'll come up and you just play to it. Just play to that and have fun with it. All that is like just playing catch in the backyard, basically, is all that is. And what that does is it helps you, again, have a better embodied response to your guitar, hence making it an instrument. All right, here we go. Oops. Welcome, sir.
Hello.
Hello. I'm going to put my earbud in real quick.
All right.
See if it goes. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am holding my guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And,
excellent.
Yeah. So, how are you doing?
Good. Carolyn finally seems to have gone to sleep. So that gives us roughly at minimum, I would say an hour and a half of playtime.
All right.
At max, 2.5 hours.
All right. So
how are you doing? How's the guitar going for you?
It's going all right. I got this guitar. I think it's a Chinese one, but it's
Nice.
cool. The brand is Sigma. It's
Oh,
all right.
nice.
Yeah.
I used to have a Sigma. I loved the Sigma.
Yeah. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Does it come through? The sound?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it does. How about this? Does this come through?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, so I have this tendency of playing bass on the guitar, but still I have some guitar playing into me, I think.
That's funny. When I play bass, I have a tendency to play guitar on bass.
Yeah.
But I also have a tendency to play drums over everything.
Yeah, my bass playing it's very melodic, so I guess there is some transfer from the guitar playing over there as well on my side. So yeah.
Oh, you're in E, huh?
Yeah.
I'm in drop. That's why. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
I wish we were in the same room. That way, that'd be kind of fun because then we have this lag issue. Because I know it probably sounds so ridiculous on the other side, but
yeah, I know there is a lag issue. So
yeah.
one day we'll do that. So yeah, I just wanted to say hi, and man, you really inspired me to go buy a guitar. So it's really nice to see other people jumping on that train. That's cool. And I'm also happy for you that you get the chance to see Ethan. That's nice. That's lovely. So
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
get to see Ethan and Jane every week. So it's really
lovely,
nice.
lovely. Okay,
So bye.
I'm gonna
All right,
drop off,
brother.
and I will keep listening. So, rock on.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
all right, brother. Bye bye.
Bye.
Nathan says, by drums, do you mean rhythm? Took me some time to feel recognize strings as percussion, piano, main instrument, obviously, the drumming apparatus. Yeah, piano is a percussion instrument. Um, so what it is I started out on the drums. Well, no, I started out on saxophone and then went to drums fairly quickly, and then I played drums for a long time and played air drums even longer. I actually wish I had a drum kit. That would be a lot of fun. I would really love that, and probably will have one at some point. But um, yeah, the hammer-on pull-off stuff is very kind of like it's very percussive. So like if I'm playing stuff, I oftentimes hear like a drum beat in my head. So uh, one group I always want to give a shout out to, who does a great job of demonstrating this kind of percussive, um, where it's like it's very explicit in their drumming or in their guitar playing, is Rodrigo y Gabriela. I love Rodrigo and Gabriela. I've loved them for over a decade now. And it's a guy and a gal, and they both play percussively, but Gabriela is very percussive. Like, so she's like, if you had to ask me who I felt was the greatest rhythm guitar player to ever live, it would probably be um, Gabriela. Um, and she is just a monster. With rhythm. So I love her playing. And they are actually, I think, I would say between Rodrigo and Gabriela and John Gome. Between those two, they introduced. They weren't the first to do it, but they really, I think, started to popularize what is now very ubiquitous in YouTube land, um, which is these kind of like guitar players that they do all this like tapping and percussion drum beats while they're playing. That's a pretty well known, widely known genre. You got Mike Dawes and all these different dudes that are doing it, but Rodrigo Gabriela and John Gome, I think, were doing it the best. There's some other guys. I mean, there's I know that there's a guy who's playing jazz for decades now. Um, and I can't remember. I don't remember his name, but he tunes the guitar so weird, like where like there are no flats, so everything is like so he could do like these kinds of like shapes all over. But he's been doing it, but he does it with an electric guitar. He's been doing. I can't remember his name. He's like he's black. He dresses very effeminate, but dude, the guy is a beast. Jazz, um, very big. Yes, Stanley Jordan. That's the guy. That guy is outstanding. Um, but these guys. There's a difference, though. Okay, so for me, there's a difference between somebody who could play an instrument like to uh, an extreme, like at an extremely beautiful level. They can play the instrument in a way where it's just like, are you kidding me? there's a big difference between that and somebody who, let's say, plays at an average level, but their songwriting is superb. So I prefer songwriting over novelty of prodigy. You know, then there's people who do both, and I think John Gome is the guy who does both. Um, Rodrigo and Gabriela are people who do both. So Rodrigo and Gabriela, they came out of Mexico City. They were in a metal band together, playing electric guitars, and this is decades and decades ago, and it didn't go well. So they moved out of Mexico and went to Denmark, and they were busking on the streets, and you could hear the metal influence in the guitar playing, but you could also hear the kind of like um, uh, flamenco, uh, mariachi kind of style in there, and then so they developed this whole style, and they made they built a career for themselves for decades now, and I think they are premier. I mean, they're just I love them so much. Got to meet them once, and they also and like they did like Orion on their first full length, which is a self-titled record. That record is amazing. Every song amazing. They covered Stairway to Heaven on there. They covered Orion by Metallica, and plus every song on that record is phenomenal. Um, but uh, they later on they introduced me to a song called Lingus, Lingus, by the band Snarky Puppy, which is a jazz collective out of I think Texas. Anyhow, those guys are unbelievable. But anyways, they did a Rodrigo and Gabriela over like maybe in 2022 or something. They did like a jazz cover record, and on that record was Lingus, and I had never heard the song before, but I was like, wow, this song is incredible, and it's and I said to myself, this the original must be unbelievable. So I went to listen to the original, and I was stunned at at that. So I love both versions very very much. Um, but yeah, Anne took myself and I, or she took herself and myself for it was for my 40th birthday. We went to see Rodrigo and Gabriela in Madison. We got VIP tickets. It was great. They were really beautiful, lovely souls. Um, and I think of like just people and everyday people. I often think about like um, the artists that you'll never hear of. You'll never hear a single one of their songs. You'll never read one of their manuscripts. You'll never see one of their paintings. Um, you'll never, uh, whatever the medium is, you'll never encounter it, and you'll never encounter them. But there are maybe they possess some of the most beautiful works of art that ever existed. I often wonder about those. Um, because I know they have to exist. It's not that to me it's like it's inevitable that they exist and they exist in great quantities. And I wonder why. Um and yet I still think that they somehow contribute to the overall fabric um of a symbolic landscape, you know. And maybe even they have like a foundational uh presence in that fabric. So Yeah, I mean, in some ways, you could think about like cave paintings or something. Cave drawings are like the first example of this. They're like, um, paintings that nobody will ever see, but they existed and they inspired other people to make them. And then we're downstream of all that. Let's see. Almost like the monks praying. Yeah, monasteries. Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah. Um, but these kinds of things, I think about poets and like yesterday I was reading that poem by Whittier. The guy never like I have his book. I don't know who the hell that is. But I read that poem and I was like I never encountered that poem before. I thought, wow, that's really beautiful. And there's a whole book of it there. And that's the if I will ever be a part of any sort of art movement, that's that's the art movement that I long to be a part of. Um, the one that gets no recognition, that develops tremendous beauty, that inspires others, and and is honest, and the artists themselves live full and wonderful lives. So let's see, what are these people saying? Thanks be God, praise even the stones and grasses cry out. So, yeah. So now I think Carolyn will be an artist. She already is in some ways. Like so, she loves bubbles, like blowing the bubbles. So you have like this big tall thing that has the bubble solution in it, and you unscrew the lid and you pull it out and you wave the thing and bubbles go everywhere. She loves that. But now, so like the other day we were playing, and Anne has this like metal water flask, kind of tall in the same shape as that bubble thing, and she had a drumstick and she stuck it in not into the not into the canister itself, but there's like a little like loophole that you hold on to that's metal. Like she ran the drumstick in there and pulled it out and started shaking it, and she said bubbles. Like, oh, she has an imagination and an intuitive ingenuity, and there's something really beautiful about that. And I thought that that was very like some beautiful work of art. And maybe that's what art is in some sense. Okay, since someone's going to come on, there's a book that I left out that I forgot to include in my library yesterday. Maybe because I found them. There's a couple books actually. Yeah. Oh. All right. Here's one of them. This is Extraordinary Living for Ordinary Men by Sam Shoemaker. This is Sam Shoemaker. Sam Shoemaker um, wrote this poem. So I Stay Near the Door. One of my favorite poems of all time. So I Stay Near the Door, an apologia for my life. I love that poem. It is very beautiful. Anyhow, this is a book that he wrote. Um, and I love the smell of these books. We're gonna do savings throws. So we got survival, social, wisdom, and heart. Oh, you want to see the poem? Well, let me do some savings throws first. Uh, Usually, the only real place to get these is over on the Grim Grid show, but I'll give you some pseudo savings throws. All right, survival 16. Where are you? 16. Made it. Social 15. Five. If you're 555, there you go. 15. You got wisdom. You just made it. 10. Got 10. Just scooting in. Heart 17. 17. All right. So there. Never really made it. Oh, thanks to JZEP for the savings throws. All right. Sam Shoemaker's. I stay near the door. I stay near the door. I neither go too far in nor stay too far out. The door is the most important door in the world. It is the door through which men walk when they find God. There is no use my going way inside, my staying there, or in staying there, when so many are still outside, and they, as much as I, crave to know where the door is. And all that so many ever find is only the wall there where a door ought to be. They creep along the wall like blind men with outstretched, groping hands, feeling for a door, knowing there must be a door. Yet they never find it, so I stay near the door. The most tremendous thing in the world is for men to find that door, the door to God. The most important thing any man can do is to take hold of one of those blind, groping hands and put it on the latch that only clicks and opens to the man's own touch. Men die outside that door as starving beggars die on cold nights in cruel cities in the dead of winter, die for want of what is within their grasp. They live on the other side of it, live because they have found it. Nothing else matters compared to helping them find it and open it and walk in and find Him. So I stay near the door. Go in, great saints, go all the way in. Go way down into the cavernous cellars and way up into the spacious attics in its vast, roomy house, this house where God is. Go into the deepest of hidden casements of withdrawal, of silence, of sainthood. Some, some must inhabit those inner rooms and know the depths and heights of God and call outside to the rest of us how wonderful it is. Sometimes I take a deeper look in, sometimes venture in a little farther, but my place seems closer to the opening, so I stay near the door. There is another reason why I stay there. Some people get partway in and become afraid, lest God in his zeal of his house devour them. For God is so very great and asks all of us. And these people as cosmic feel a cosmic claustrophobia and want to get out. Let me out, they cry. And the people way inside only terrify them more. Somebody must be by the door to tell them that they are spoiled. For the old life, they have seen too much. Once taste God, and nothing but God will do any more. Somebody must be watching for the frightened, who seek to sneak out just where they came in, to tell them how much better it is inside. The people too far in do not see how near these are to leaving, preoccupied with the wonder of it all. Somebody must watch for those who have entered the door, but would like to run away. So for them too, I stay near the door. I admire the people who go away in, but I wish they would not forget how it was before they got in. Then they would be able to help the people who have yet even found the door, or the people who want to run away again from God. You can go in too deeply and stay in too long and forget the people outside the door. As for me, I shall take my accustomed place, near enough to God to hear him and know he is there, but not so far from men as to not hear them, and remember that they are there too. Where? Outside the door. Thousands of them, millions of them, but more importantly for me, one of them, two of them, 10 of them, whose hands I am intended to put on the latch. So I shall stay by the door and wait for those who seek it. I had rather be a doorkeeper, so I stay near the door. Yeah, I love, I love that. I love that. Anyhow, yeah, it's a tremendous poem. Um, all right, so the other book I got this at Midwestuary. This is Temples Before Pretense Before Temples by one ML Michael Satori. ML Thomas Satori. It's a whopping 815 pages. I love the index, by the way. It's hilarious. Index. There is no index, but anyone who purchased a paper copy of this book can send an email to address listed in the preface with a picture of the book, and I will give you a searchable digital copy. Bam. All right. Another book that I didn't mention. I got this book from listening to a book called The Hardest Times. Or no, The Worst Times. I can't remember the guy's name. Egan, maybe? He wrote a book about the Dust Bowl. So this here is a book that was referenced, or somebody who was referenced in that book. And she, Caroline Henderson, wrote um, all these different letters. And she also wrote for a magazine. And the last one I think I left off on was this one. So I'll start reading this. August 1917. The Homestead Ladies Scribbling Pad. Ladies World. The question is no longer what would you do if America were at war, but What are you doing? For in this struggle, which concerns so profoundly the density or destiny of our country and the world, there is need of the most unselfish effort of each and all. We cannot know now whether few or many of our people may be called upon for the supreme sacrifice, life itself, or the giving up of those dearer than far dearer than life. But to some certainly will come this call, inspired by the gallant gallantry and devotion of their response. Surely the rest of us should humbly welcome any chance to serve and show our loyalty to those high ideals in which America has its beginning, or has its being. Work, if possible, with others and under the direction of those who know exactly what is needed. The Red Cross earnestly desires new members and suggests many of our varied lines of helpful acti- activity. If you must work alone at home, at least keep the spirit of cooperation, for the task before us requires an altogether effort. If you can give no other direct service, at least you can help by your own personal attitude to keep America steadily in purpose and action. If ever a nation went to war unencumbered by feelings of personal rancor and bitterness, I believe our country is doing it today. Let us keep it so, remembering that, confusing as it may seem, we are fighting for peace, for a world made safe for democracy. So may our minds and hearts be equal to the greatness of our task. So many, or so may we also be prepared for the patient work and sacrifices that must follow the war if the world is truly to be set free. If all peoples are to be united by bonds of sympathy and mutual service, if the nations are to be prepared to become at last the kingdom of our Lord and his Christ, doubtless many of us will find our most direct service in preventing waste in our own homes. As a nation, we have had spendthrift ways. I believe we shall prove our patriotism and our adaptability by learning the values of things and by adopting in practice the new slogan of the Department of Agriculture. Let saving, not spending, be the social standard. So yeah, that was for Ladies World, August of 2000, of 1917. Let's see. Here's a letter from February 17th, 1918, received and exscripted by Rose Alden. Little Eleanor was much pleased with the fine pencils, especially the red, white, and blue, which exactly fitted into the Japanese paint pencil box her grandpa sent by Santa Claus. And I can hardly tell you of the uplift I felt in reading Lewitt Dawson's letters, so appealing in their high purpose, and all the more effective for being written with no thought of publication. We both read them while out herding, before the new fence around the farm could be completed. Among the cousins and second cousins are 7 that I know of in the service. The young Canadian cousin has seen nearly 3 years of it now, and recently received some service medal, and writes that he is now a blooming staff officer. The year 1917 was contrary from beginning to end. Either we or the weather always did exactly the wrong thing. The winter had brought no snow or other moisture. The spring gave us only the lightest of showers, so that crops came poorly and not at all. In July, we had fairly decent rain and planted more and replanted. Then followed a long drought with intense heat, so that what had started come to a dead standstill. When rains and hail came in August, the staff had to begin growing all over again. The frost came in right on time, and 1,000 bushels of maize turned into chaff overnight. Our our usually lovely month of October was a succession of tempests which blew flat even the fodder, and we had or even the fodder we had hoped to cut. We had managed to cut and bind the late planted broom corn, and are still not quite through the laborious task of pulling the brush from the bundle, but hope to complete that work this week. The blowing down of the fodder made imperative the fencing of the farm, so as to pasture out the feed in the field. The extra and unplanned for labor and expense with the broom corn pulling and the rigors of the winter having again upset all my plans for the rather restful winter. My garden suffered with other things from the bad season, but I raised beans, carrots, parsnips, beets, and pumpkins enough for the winter, and we have made use of everything. I think there will be sufficient fodder from caviar and broomcorn and millet hay to carry the cattle through, and that is the most important thing. We have we have 5 new babies since the new year, which brings our little herd up to 47, which means a whole lot of work for 2 people caring for them. One improvement during the year was the putting in of the telephone line, which connects us with a great many of our neighbors in our market town of Elkhart. It is very quiet here. Only the wind, which rarely rests, and the fire make any sound. It's great. This I love this book so much because it's easy to lose perspective. Um, well, it's easy. Yeah, I mean that's what it's been great for. Is it's given me perspective on a world that I've never had to live in. Thank God. And this gal and her beau got married and started a family out there, and it is a whole book of these kinds of letters, which is outstanding. So, Rob, you should come on and play. That'd be nice. Dolly, what are you doing? Well, what's up, Josh? Pretty good. Just chilling. Well, I guess we should end it.